Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode video format of Fearful Harmony. Today we have a very special guest. He is a YouTuber, lead singer of Polybius, and also the third My Little Pony fan we've had in here. I lost track. Raymundo 2112. Don't worry, you're not the first. Don't.
There we go. Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad I'm not breaking new ground. But it's crazy. I've done irreparable damage to my reputation now. Through like 2 videos and a couple songs. Dude, it's crazy. Like I people know me as a pony guy, and I never thought that would happen. Granted, like I did it to myself. I'm not
really a fan. Like, I know Luna games. That's about as far as my extent
you got
of my
the
knowledge goes.
Scary stuff
no, that's not. But I don't really understand that. It's like, okay, people could be a fan of like fucking
I don't get
like
it either.
Clarence, but you can't be a fan of that. I don't know.
Clarence is a great show. I would prefer, honestly. I don't want to like ruin people's illusion of me, but I would like much prefer to watch Clarence than I'd prefer to watch My Little Pony, if I'm being completely honest. I was a fan of it growing up, and then I'm like in this nostalgic renaissance for it. But I don't watch My Little Pony. I don't really have any interest in it outside of like kind of its impact on the internet. Sorry to all the people out there who I'm ruining my representation.
Sorry, this is like the first thing we're talking about. Anyone, but like
we're going right into it.
It is really weird that like once again, as someone who has never watched a show or really interacted with the community or anything, my only impression of it is the stuff I saw online, both traumatizing and not. Because I saw was it Hot Diggity Demon? Whoever did all those really messed up animations, and then
classic.
I talked about this with another guest, this guy named Pig Gamer, if you ever heard of him. We were talking about this one called like Cupcakes or something like that, where they like, Isn't it crazy? Like, some people living proof that's their only experience with that series is just
that is wild.
I was traumatized as like a 9-year-old.
It is crazy. You know, like that stuff. And now it's like, I see it, I have a different kind of understanding and context to it all now, where it's kind of fun, all that stuff now, but I also understand that the effects of it was like, that was so wrong.
Oh, yeah.
These poor kids, I was one of them, obviously, but I actually watched the show because I was like, 8 years old, so it was that much scarier. I like, change my perception of Pinkie
it's
Pie.
like some sort of Gen Z trauma iceberg.
Yeah, something like that. You could say that.
Like
you could say so.
Oh wait, crazy transition there.
That was good.
Anyways, I kind of just ask everyone who is a content creator, has been a content creator, how did you get interested in making content in the first place?
That's a great question. I mean, so I technically I've been making YouTube videos since I was like 6 years old. Like I would have an idea and tell my mom about it, and then grab a camera and we'd put it together, and she would show me how to edit it and stuff. This is back in like 2010, 2011. But I didn't have my own channel until I was 8 years old. And there it was all me. I was just doing my own thing. And I did that for a couple, like for years, and up until 2021 when it actually became my like career. Like as a kid, my dream job was to be a YouTuber, 100%.
I feel like a lot of our generation. Was like
it's like
and Gen
it's
Alpha,
a very common one. I'm not unique at all in that regard. I'm just one of the few who's like was lucky enough to actually be able to turn that into a career. But yeah, like with the childhood trauma iceberg, I'm sure that's the reason I'm here right now. That's genuinely, I owe everything to that iceberg image. And it was the perfect thing, it was just like one day, did you see the Mario 64 iceberg, like the first one that blew up back in the day?
Oh yeah, the personalized one.
Yep. So, when that came out, that was, to my knowledge, the first iceberg video ever. And I saw it, I was like,
really?
15. Yeah, and I was like,
crazy.
This is the greatest format of a video that I have ever seen. And I was like, I can't wait for more icebergs to be made. And I didn't even see this from an angle of like, I want to do this. I'm just like, I want to see this. I want to watch this. And so more and more happened. And eventually, it was like January of 2021. And I was like, I want to do one for myself. And so I went on Reddit and I found the Punch-Out iceberg, which I started writing a video for, and then the OP actually ended up like updating the post saying that he was making a video for it. So I'm like, at that point I was just like, wait, there's no point in making 2 videos, like, or you know, having 2 people make the same video essentially. So I scrapped it. But I still had that urge in the back of my head to do an iceberg video, just for the fun of it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTuber now, but I just found it fascinating. Yeah. So there was one day in like early March of 2021 when I was on r/iceberg charts, and I had found an iceberg about Gorillaz, the band, and I'm a big fan of Gorillaz, so I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Like that was gonna start writing this tomorrow, but I didn't feel 100% about it. So I kept looking, and that's where I found the childhood trauma iceberg. And after reading just the first top like column of it, I was like, oh my god, this thing was like, you go back to the personalized thing. I felt like this was literally based off of what I experienced, and I didn't know that anybody else had a similar thing going, because there wasn't really much discussion of it at the time. It's genuinely crazy, and I still like in person when people bring up stuff like that, I'm like, wait, you saw that too? Holy crap!
Because I think it's because it's just like such a new nostalgia, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Because growing up, whenever I'd see I don't know what to call it, nostalgia posting or whatever, it'd be people being like, oh, you remember the Game Boy, you remember like see-through phones. It was also from like the 90s and 80s and stuff. I remember being a kid and be like, oh, this all looks so cool. And now I'm gonna assume we're around the same age.
Now we're the ones in power.
now it's our like
it's
nostalgia, and it's just weird to think all these like little obscure things, just like, oh, there was like probably million plus people who know like everything on that iceberg just like I do.
Exactly.
Even though I wasn't like a fan of everything. Like we were just saying, like My Little Pony. I wasn't a fan.
Found it. It was just there.
I still saw those
the
videos.
Algorithms took us there. Yeah. Dude, it's genuinely
know how I saw
wild.
those. No, I do. My friend Brad, for whatever reason you're listening, I'm never gonna forgive you for that. When I was like 10, I'm sorry. I completely remembered now. I just had like.
Did your friend Brad show you these like?
Yes.
Or at least like,
in my basement. In my basement. He showed me the shed one or whatever.
Yep.
That fucked me up. I had a thing with organs when I was little too. I
mean, so that's like a horrible thing to watch there.
Oh, yeah, no, Happy Tree Friends, all that stuff.
Oof,
that was just,
I hated Happy
that
Tree
one
Friends as a kid. Yeah.
What was it? It was like a zombie cat music video. Does that sound familiar?
It was Meow by Syriac.
Yeah. See, I could just say that. You were just saying it. Someone can say
like
that. It's like, oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, exactly.
The archive.
And that's what's absurd. Like, well, you know, that's the thing. I like, there's so much of my brain now, throughout the years of doing this, that it's just, I remember almost all of the entries by name and like
I kind of want to put you to the test now.
Please do, honestly. If you have like a memory, like what was that video?
My knowledge goes.
Right. Well, I don't know how deep is that iceberg in your own head, right? I mean,
I'm trying to think.
Test me. I'd like to see.
All right. There's a story attached to this. I'll tell it after.
Okay.
But do you remember Mario's Nightmare?
Wait, that sounds so familiar. Was it one of those like sprite animation videos?
No, but it was part of like a trend of videos, I should say.
Okay.
It was Super Mario Logan.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never watched SML growing up, so that's
no, neither did I. Once again, not a fan. Still found me somehow.
Just came across. Yep.
I got grounded over that video for like 3 months when I was a kid.
Really? Okay.
Oh no, it wasn't that video. It was another Screamer. No, I think I got grounded for this one too. I got grounded a lot.
You got grounded over Screamer videos?
Let me explain why.
Okay, yeah. Let me hear.
I'm thinking about this. It's kind of dumb, but basically, I had watched that video because I was a Mario kid. I love Mario. I would just go on the Mario DS website for like an hour. But anyways, I came across Mario Nightmare, and for those of you who don't know, it was a Super Mario Logan video where it's like Luigi's controlling Mario, he's dying, and then at the end it's like game over, and then it's the Exorcist girl, the Screamer, and
of course,
that
classic.
Scared the ever-loving shit out of me. Jump scares were jump scares, they always make you startle.
Yeah.
But especially when I was younger, jump scares stuck with me. It was so bad. Scary Maze Game. This one Dragon Ball Z abridged fake out episode, which I think that's the one I got grounded over.
Okay.
No, it is because my brother was with me. What happened with that is my brother told me not to tell my mom because we were looking for a new episode of Dragon Ball Z abridged, and there was a fake one with a screamer, and I started crying. My brother's like, "You can't tell her. You can't tell I showed it." And I was so like shooken by the experience. I
man.
told my mom anyways, and I got grounded for 3 months from the computer because she thought I was watching like serial killer videos or something. I don't know.
I love the lack
up.
of understanding of what the simplicity of something like a screamer could be misinterpreted so much by someone who just doesn't have any idea what's going on.
It's so funny too because she showed me that classic coffee car commercial when I was like an infant. She claimed she showed it to me when I was like 2 years old, and it like just come out. I was like, okay, you get mad and
right? Yeah, what's going on there?
You installed that in my brain. Anyways,
maybe that's why you hated it so much. Like you had an early inset fear of it. That video scared me too so much back in the day. All of them, honestly. Scary Maze Game I thought was like funny though, because I was in on it. I knew going into it that it was going to be a screamer, so I just turned the volume down. And I would get people who didn't know to play it, and that, that was the fun of it, really. But yeah, it's, on that note of the nostalgia, I'm really curious if we're going to keep seeing, because as the years have gone by, I do feel like, I don't know, 2020, 2021 is when discussion really started picking up around Gen Z childhood trauma.
I think it's because when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Because when COVID hit, everybody started going online. They started remembering, oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember this video. And the discussion just absolutely blew up about it again.
That would make sense. Yeah.
That's my theory.
I'm curious to see what more comes from that, if anything, because it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, and I don't intend for it to, because a lot of my like art is based on it. So the more people are interested in it, the better. But like, yeah, it's interesting. It's gonna be weird to explain to our kids how like, oh, back in my day, it's not gonna be so simple as
there's this video, this mannequin singing a song. I never slept after that. There was this red guy on YouTube who you watch him for too long, you died. You don't understand.
Exactly. It's so like absurd. And honestly, that's what I love about it, because it's also like, I feel like there's a sense of unity that comes with it too. Like, you saw that too? Holy crap! Now I feel closer to you as a person. At least in my in some cases for myself. But like with the band, with Polybius, we've done Ready to Die from Smile HD before, and we've played the video like on a projector, and people know what we're talking about. We've played Rainbow Factory, people know what we're talking about, and that's
crazy.
It's always absurd to me, because I'll ask like, oh, who's seen this? Who watched this growing up? And at least like a quarter of the audience, so like 40 people will like raise their hand and yell, and I'm like, that is way more than I thought it would be, and like, I'm sorry, but like, it's really it's kind of trippy, honestly, but yeah, it's we all share this. We're united as one, essentially.
Yeah. So going back to, well, I guess not the iceberg, but after the iceberg, you kind of started working more on like, I guess, I don't want to say commentary, video essay commentary, that kind of
it's
stuff.
hard to describe, right?
Yeah. What initiated that change, I guess?
Well,
I think that's the word I'm looking for.
It was like a really awkward, there was growing pains there. Because like I personally don't, people ask me like, oh, what do you do on YouTube? I'm like, well,
it's a hard question to answer.
It's an incredibly hard question, because it's like, you make horror videos. Like, yeah, I make horror videos sometimes. I make nostalgia videos sometimes. I make whatever I want sometimes. Like, it's hard to say. But like, so basically, after the icebergs, because the Gen Z childhood trauma icebergs were a huge success, like right out the gate, to an absurd extent, right? But icebergs themselves were that, just that what was happening at the time. That's what was big. But I didn't want to be just like an iceberg YouTuber, because that is a
there's no real. And there's also nothing wrong when people make iceberg videos, but I feel like when people make iceberg videos, the viewers never think about the person behind them.
True.
I can only think of two. How was that? Sorry. When I think iceberg videos, I've seen probably close to 100 at this point, because I love iceberg. Loved iceberg videos, like editing and stuff like that, because they're really easy to listen to. But I can only think of you, Well, I mean, not even you anymore.
Right.
And then the
Yeah.
YouTuber Source Brew. Those are the
yeah.
only
Source Brew's
two
great.
that I could possibly think of. And
Yeah.
like both of you have kind of done other things or have like a personality.
Right. We've
behind
moved
it.
on beyond
Yeah.
the chart. Yeah.
And I feel like it's also because it got saturated with.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure if I should say saturated because I feel like it was kind of like this since the beginning, with a lot of just low effort reading. I don't know how many icebergs I have clicked on, and guys like, this is the creepypasta iceberg. Smile dog. Yeah, I don't know what this is really talking about,
Dude.
but you could probably go look it up. Jeff the Killer.
So many of them
I
are
think
that,
this is
yeah.
about the Jeff the Killer creepypasta. All right,
It
thanks
almost seems like they
everybody
didn't
for
write a
watching.
script. Like, they just looked at it
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
was like, I think this is that. I've seen so many that are that, and it, like, especially when I was making iceberg videos, it would pain me, because, have you ever made an iceberg video before, or, like, anything of a similar sort?
Thought about it, but I've thought about how I would do one. But
Okay. Because there are a lot of
yeah.
effort, writing at least, editing too.
yeah.
But, because, you know, you're basically making a video about, like, I guess if you're doing multiple parts, you're making a video about like 30 different subjects within the span of
Yeah.
like, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. So it's a lot of writing, a lot of time to write those, and the editing also is a lengthy
Yeah.
Obviously, the more you do it, the easier it gets. But I would see this and just be like, how does this have like 200,000 views? This is
Yeah.
like, you're not getting it. The's no information in this.
Or they don't put visuals on screen. It'll just be
yeah,
like
like, it's
gameplay
just
for 3
gameplay.
hours, and there'll be text.
That
Like,
blows
dude,
my
come
mind.
on.
It's like I remember seeing those too and being so jealous. I'm like, is that all you need to do? Is that where it ends?
I
yeah.
actually remember when I was first blowing up on YouTube, about 2023. One of my buddies was like, "All right, I know how you can keep your growth going. Get a text-to-speech bot, crank out some icebergs,
Yep.
you'll be doing great." He was
There
kind
you
of
go.
like joking with it too, but I was like, "Yeah, no, that was kind of the meta at the time."
Genuinely, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And now it's like you rarely see icebergs. Well, you do actually. You see iceberg videos, but they're not called iceberg videos. Someone will take an iceberg
Yeah.
chart and make like
deep dives or something.
yeah, deep
I
dives,
don't know.
exactly. It's a very clear rebrand, but it's like no one really wants iceberg videos anymore. I think that's because so many of them were just kind of like low quality.
Yeah.
That people were just kind of like, all right, I've seen what I want. Obviously, if there's something you're like particularly interested in, then obviously
Yeah.
there's that.
So
the
is that
niche
kind of
aspect,
part
but-
of? Was that like part of the reason that you went on to do other things or
Yeah, I mean, like
outside iceberg? Not regardless.
Totally, yeah, because the plan was initially like, you know, the original 4, and then the community edition, and then the nostalgia iceberg, and that was gonna be it. And initially it was, but then like, I had a horrible ethic around my channel. My life ended up changing a lot, in like 2022, and so I was like 17, 18. I didn't have my priorities straight in the slightest. So my channel kind of died. And I was doing, you know, videos that were not icebergs and stuff. They didn't perform very well, but I was fine with it because they were just like, I liked them. They were passion projects, and the icebergs were still getting a lot of traction. So it's not like I was suffering too much from it. But like, you know, you can only coast so long off of like a 3-hour iceberg video until the views drop off and you stop profiting, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, this is still my full-time job. I got to do something about this. So, you know, there's a point. If you look at the videos that I made in 2022, I dislike almost all of them.
2022.
Because yeah, like if I'm actually gonna pull up my channel right now and say
Jamie,
like
pull that
my
up.
least favorite
Well,
videos of mine, because
that
like I
kind of
genuinely
covers one of my
like,
questions, because I was gonna ask you about
Yeah.
like I always asking like what people think that, I shouldn't say least favorite, but maybe videos they wish they had done differently.
Oh
I
man,
suppose.
everything I made in 2022, I wish I'd done differently. Like the iceberg videos were okay. Like the nostalgia iceberg, I think is solid. The cryptids iceberg, I feel like wasn't very good. The social media iceberg was very like mid. But if you're looking at the channel, the YouTube URL thing, like they weren't scripted, and like the Shrek video, I think it's why the Shrek Lost Media is so creepy. It's an awful video. It's the worst video I've ever made. It sucks so bad. And so, like, that, it kind of reached a point where I was just like, and you can see as well, they have very few views as well. So it's just like, very low point. And eventually, it was the Backrooms video that I made, which I was actually like proud of upon release, and evidently people liked it because it has 1.4 million views now. But the success of that kind of reinvigorated my passion towards making videos and made me want to put more effort into it. And that kind of all culminated into the Disgusting Return of Elsagate video, which is, I think, the biggest.
I watched one of them. There's a lot of Elsagate videos.
Yes, there. Dude, it never
did
ends.
One, right?
I did one, like a month ago.
Well, yeah, a month ago here. Yeah,
yeah, which it's like, with this channel, that is as recent as you're gonna get most of the time. But you
did another radioactive chip. We'll get into that. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to talk about that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, so from there, I was just like, I think after that video, after the Backrooms video, I think all of my output is really, I enjoy. I think the Family Guy hack video could have been done better. I think the follow-up to the playlist video could have been done better. I think the analog horror video could have been done a little better, but like, I still like them. I don't think they're bad videos. And then, yeah, like, I honestly, it was just a very big shift, because the nostalgia iceberg was the last. Like, I was so sick of iceberg videos, because when you make one, you've kind of made them all. It's just different topics, but the editing is kind of the same thing. The writing of just doing a bunch of different topics, it's the same thing, just about different stuff. And it gets a little mind-numbing, after you've done so many. So
I
was,
can't
like,
imagine
officially
how
done.
rough that editing could be sometimes.
Dude, yeah, it's intensive. So I was just like, I told people, like, this is the last one. I don't want to do this anymore. So that, like, officially marked the end of the iceberg era. And then I just kind of, started making videos in the style that I wanted to make them in. Which was, inspired by classic kind of horror YouTubers, like, like classics like Nexpo and, Scare Theater.
Theater. Oh my god.
Dude, I love Scare Theater.
That's
I love
the only
that
one
guy.
I could think of, yeah.
He's a cool guy in real life. I was able to meet him. That's something I could talk about.
Really?
All these people I've met since, that's just like blown my mind so much, because like I don't see myself as a YouTuber at all, but like apparently
I'm
that's
still in that camp as well, because this is still relatively new to me.
It doesn't get better. Like I don't know what point it's gonna be where I'm like, okay, this is what I do. But like I've met people. I met JonTron last summer. Like that's crazy to me.
That is crazy.
It's like, I'm not over it. I look at these pictures, I'm like, what the hell am I doing with these people? This is like, why am I here? I don't know. Maybe I just have like a YouTube imposter syndrome, but yeah, like, I was just inspired by all these people that I grew up watching, and the style of my videos, at least the way I like to think about it, is that it's just this big melting pot of all these inspirations from everyone that I enjoyed. And then, of course, not that it's all derivative. I've definitely put my own self into it. But as a foundation, there's a lot of these, different people from the past. And I've kind of just stuck with the same sort of style and until now. And I'm planning on maybe experimenting a little bit. Might be doing a little something soon.
Experimenting. Sneak peek here. For like the... Okay, for the 100 people who are listening right now?
Exactly, yeah. You guys might see a face cam video regarding the year 2016. Maybe soon. I don't know.
See, it's so funny you say 2016, because I could immediately off rip think of like 500 things that happened during that year, and like, all right, what is it? Is this like Pokemon Go? Is this Harambe? Is this like election? Right. What is this?
There's so much
many things that happen.
My thing is, like, I don't know if you've probably seen this online. People have like, turned 2016 into this like perfect year. Everyone's like missing 2016. It was so perfect. It was so fun. Whereas I remember 2016 being like the year everything started to go to shit, basically.
Yeah, I remember specifically during that year, everybody being like, this is the worst year.
Yeah, and myself included. I was like, this is stressful as hell. Like,
I used iFunny at that time. I don't think it could get any worse than that. I think that's rock bottom right there.
There was like, it genuinely feels like there's like different ways that, at least that I see the 2010s. Or like basically like history since the 2010s, right? Because we had the early, like, I say 2010 to 2014 was its own era. We're coming out of a recession, not a recession, but a
2010
crisis,
to 2014 was recession.
Yeah, and then we're like, sort of building back, and gay marriage is legalized, and there's somewhat, obviously we're still in the Middle East, but there was some relative feeling of peace and safety in the United States. And then, 2016 hits, and all of that sort of just kind of gets swirled up into this media fire of division and anger and fear and Pizzagate and Harambe got killed. Like,
I
there's
still
so
don't
many
know
things.
what Gamergate was. I hear about
Gamer.
that
Well,
every
yeah,
now and then. And I'm
that's like the start of the culture.
I still don't know what
you know
that is. Yeah, no, especially because at that time, I wasn't really like on the internet at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still like, I was watching YouTube and playing games and stuff like that, but I didn't understand anything. I was like, was that 2016? I was like 11, 12, so I mean...
Right, yeah, exactly.
And I'm kind of glad I was not informed at that point. I feel like no one that young should be getting involved in anything online.
Yeah. I
It's the
agree.
world we live in today, having to ban 9-year-olds from my Discord, but...
Dude, it's scary. I'm genuinely concerned for the kids today and their usage of the internet.
Gen Alpha. Yeah,
It's,
no. I'm a hypocrite in saying it, but don't let your kids online. Not
Don't
that
let your
I don't
kids
have
online.
kids. I'm saying
Yeah.
I was a kid. Yeah, I let my kids online all the time.
That's like my biggest message at the end of the day is like I was one of the lucky ones who's been able to like make talking about my experience online into like a job, but the vast majority of people don't, and they're just like, well, I'm permanently affected by my like content exposure to horrors online at like 7 years old, and you know, it should serve as a lesson. I think that Gen Z as parents know better. I hope. I really,
well,
really
Gen Z
hope.
is like just now becoming parents. Like
Exactly.
The past, like
yeah.
5, 6, 7 years, something like that. I don't know when Gen Z starts.
Soon to tell. I think Gen Z is 1995.
Oh,
So,
okay. I thought it was like 98, 99. Never mind. All right, they've been parents for like a decade.
It's
at this
different
point, maybe.
everywhere you ask. Like, honestly, it's hard to define. I don't think there was like a definitive year.
Yeah. There's a new gen, isn't there?
This
year,
Gen
isn't
Beta.
there a new generation?
This year is
that
the betas.
sucks. Oh my god! Imagine
rough.
being Gen Beta compared to Gen
know.
Alpha. That's gotta be rough.
really-
They're not living that one down.
They can't. Like they're. It's really unfair. You're just going straight into the world as a beta. It's really, it's unfortunate. But I'm sure you've seen the memes and stuff where it's like they show the generations. It's like every generation there's like the based one and the cringe one and the based one and the cringe one, right? So
I don't know if I've
maybe-
seen that, but I
like-
definitely heard that sentiment before.
Yeah, it's like the idea is that every generation, one's perceived well, the other isn't. So maybe, hopefully, Gen Alpha does not have a good rep. Maybe the betas are actually going to be like the alphas in effect. I hope so, for their sake.
I think it's so funny when people are like, I hate Gen Alpha, they're the worst. Like, dude, they're all children still.
I know,
what are
it's
you
so
doing?
weird.
You got beef with like a 12-year-old? Not even 12. I
it's
don't even know when Gen
fascinating,
Alpha ends, but like, chill.
Dude, I mean, I guess it ends now, right? So I think, again, it's inconsistent, right? Because some people say 2012, some people say 2010. 2010 is like the most commonly considered one. But like the oldest Gen Alpha is 15 years old. Like that's a child. That's a kid, right?
Damn these kids. Stop
It's
stop
crazy.
having fun. All right,
I
knock
know,
it
yeah.
off, please.
Yeah, it's not like we
Anyways.
watched source filmmaker animations that were silly in our childhood. That's all them.
Anybody, listen, I loved it when I was a kid. It was great. But anybody who says like Skibbity Toy or whatever, it's horrible for kids, we grew up with MLG, okay? I
Yes,
don't know if you've
exactly.
gone back and rewatched MLG videos. They're
It was worse than
horrible.
Skibbity Toilet.
They are
Yeah.
garbage. There's like some really well edited ones. There's like
Yeah, yeah.
what was it? Did you ever watch like MLG Antivirus? Any of the things that
Oh
guy
my
made?
god, I think so. Like way
He's
back.
still, those videos are still so well made, but it's like the most unfunny brain rot content
Just, like,
ever.
overstimulating,
and then people hype it up.
yeah.
They're like, "Oh, we had stuff like MLG." Now YouTube poops. On the other hand, all right, I'll hear you.
There's
on
a
that.
different
That was
case for
pretty
that.
great.
Those are very creative, right? But I don't, have you watched Skibbity Toilet? Like just for that context?
Such a funny question.
I'm so serious.
Yeah, no, I know. I think I've watched Ludwig watch it. That's about
Okay.
it.
Because
I know
I've
it has
seen,
a
like,
very
most of it.
deep lore.
It does, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's cool. It's like it's just like action. It's just like
Yeah.
a war epic. It's like watching a Michael Bay Transformer movie. Who I guess is he's doing the movie, but like
Oh, yeah, he
it's way overhyped. A lot of people are being very hypocritical about it. It's like, sit down and watch it. You'll say it's cooler than MLG. In my opinion, I think Skibbity
Sit down and listen. Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
talking.
Listen and learn. Listen. So some people need to hear that.
Anyways, we're already like halfway hour, and I wanted to, or half an hour in, and I wanted to talk about this. I know you want to as well. Oh no, we're going to a new one. You like music. I'm very interested. So for anyone who doesn't know about Polybius, would you like to explain what Polybius is?
I would love to. Yeah, so Polybius is the first and probably only cringecore band, which is essentially like 2010s internet culture music, is I guess the best way to describe it. It's things that were commonly considered cringe. So, you know, it's not only just the music, it's like a fundamental ideology almost, and an appreciation of, because I believe that everybody has been cringe in their life, and
that's true.
Most people feel shame around it, and I think that if you're not harming anybody and it's like just a genuine thing, you know, that you enjoy, I say like embrace it all the way. Like, you know, most of us were like obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's in 2014, 2015. And then like went on to denounce it when it became cringe, or like Minecraft or
Fortnite. Fortnite was crazy.
Dude,
if you played Fortnite in 2019 or 2018 and you told people, you were like burned at the cross. It was crazy.
It was terrible.
The whole Minecraft good, Fortnite bad. But then those same people were making fun of Minecraft like 3 years prior.
Exactly.
It's like, you're all fake.
It's wild, and that's I kind of like hate that, and I was a Redditor in 2019, so I was like a part of that culture, but I was kind of like one of the undercover ones because I still played Fortnite, so it was like, you know, it got to a point where like, you know, the friends that I'd play Fortnite with, we wouldn't call it Fortnite in public, we'd call it games, so no one knew we were talking about Fortnite. Like, it was so bad. The Fortnite prosecution, like, epidemic of
that is insane.
Yeah, it was bad. You know, it was brutal. But now Fortnite's cool again. You know?
I used to be the same with Minecraft. I would like want to play like Mineplex or something like that, and I would like make sure certain people in my friend group wouldn't like. I wouldn't say it in like my public discords or whatever. I'd like DM, be like, hey, let's play this. It was the same with like Roblox. Roblox is a crazy one because Roblox I feel like it was more recent-ish that it's been like back. In fact, like a year or two ago, I was back home, I was in my room and I was playing Roblox, and my brother comes and he's like, what are you playing? I was like, oh, Roblox, without even thinking like, oh yeah, there's like there was a connotation against that for like ever
for a long time. I mean, but now like women play Roblox, which is the weirdest thing, because that's a whole new thing.
Well, I meant adults in general, but I mean, I guess
Dress to Impress, that was like a sensation. You know, like that.
Like Queso was streaming that. Like Critical was streaming that. Like all these giant like YouTubers. Like this is the dress up game. That's crazy.
And
I'm
I love
rocking
that,
Bloxy
you know?
Bingo on the weekends. It's
hell yeah. I was obsessed with Roblox, and that, you know, we actually like. Speaking of Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox, with Polybius, we have songs about those, right? Well, not about Minecraft just yet, but we're working on it.
So, do you guys sing pre-existing songs, or do you do like a mix of like original and then, or is it just like,
all of our releases so far have been covers that have, well, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, because like, some are extended, like, alternate versions of songs that already exist. And, like, reimaginings, kind of, like, almost in a Weird Al sort of way.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just can't think of a word.
Yeah,
I think
we have a song about Fortnite called Ramirez, and it's based off of a song by an obscure horror punk band called Zombina and the Skeletones. But ours is about Fortnite and the meteor that hit Dusty Depot. And I think it's a great song, but it's like Polybius as, like, a project canonically takes place in 2014, so we basically only do songs and talk about subjects that existed in 2014 or before. Fortnite's our one exception, though. Our drummer got a time machine. That's how the story goes, right? But
that was amazing.
Yeah, everything else though is like, you know, it's that early 2010s internet culture that we're trying to honor there.
I got two questions. One, have you guys done the Noob song yet, where it's like living life from the noob?
I love that song, dude.
Please tell me
not
you've
yet,
done it.
But it's like, it's on the list. It's on the list. But we do have Raining Tacos.
Oh my god. That one. I hated that.
And that
song
one we
as a
have
kid.
on. Did you actually? You were one of the few.
Yeah. No, well, it's because I was like in that. I don't even know. I was in that Minecraft. Like, I was huge into Minecraft even since like alpha beta.
Okay.
And I was very against Roblox when I was like 6
Gotcha.
or 7 because I saw it as a direct competitor. And you know,
Yeah.
you're a kid, you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
PlayStation, you hate Xbox, you have Nintendo,
Yeah,
you hate
exactly.
both, whatever. So I was in that camp, and I was like,
Childhood
I will not touch
tribalism.
Roblox. I'd rather die. Anyways, and then more getting into your band. So I gotta ask, first of all, are you a punk
Yeah.
fan?
Oh,
my-
yeah, absolutely.
I have talked to probably 20 plus people on this. I've met so many creators, so many whatever. I have not met another punk rock band. I mean, I'm wearing my Bad
Really?
Religion shirt right
Love
now.
it. That's
oh
awesome.
my god. So my dad is like the biggest like punk fan I have ever met in my life, and that's part of
That
the reason I
rocks.
got into it when I was little, like 4 or 5. Probably misguidingly, he would play like No FX, he'd play like Screeching Weasel, stuff like that.
Dude,
And
no
I
offense, they had a
loved it.
pop-up store like blocks away from me recently. It was
Really?
cool. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my!
yeah.
I'm so mad. Where was it they just played? Was it during the summer? Did they play
I'm
at?
not sure.
They played somewhere, and I was mad because it was gonna be like their last show. It was Riot Fest. I think that was it.
Gotcha.
That was like one of their last shows ever, and then my dad and my mom were gonna go, and I think I was visiting my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, shit.
You
They
missed
didn't end up
out.
going
Damn.
anyways, but still.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways, and then I didn't actually start like listening to music. I'll be real. I was like do you know Siva Gunner?
Oh my god, yeah. of
I was
course,
like a
yeah.
Siva Gunner mashup video game music kid
That's
when I was like
awesome.
12 to 13. I used SoundCloud. And then COVID hit, got my first minimum wage job, and we were allowed
Okay.
earbuds. And at the time, my brother got me on Logic a bit and rap and stuff like that. So I downloaded Spotify because I didn't want to use SoundCloud anymore for valid reasons. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember like all these songs my dad used to play for me. Have like stuck in my head, and I just absolutely melted into punk rock, and I love it so
That's
much.
awesome.
And
it's so great.
nobody ever ever
I'm
I can't
surprised.
talk to anyone about it except for my dad.
Really?
And I figured since you had done videos with Radioactive Chicken Head, which I've also got
Yeah.
my dad on now, by the way,
Oh,
'cause I
for
mentioned it.
real? That's so
I was
cool.
like, okay, they've done stuff with like, I looked it up, they do stuff with like the Aquabats and those
Yeah.
kinds
and
of
Guar
bands,
and, you know, like,
yeah. And so I was
um,
curious, I was like, I wonder if he's like a punk fan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What are
Dude,
some of your
it's,
favorite bands?
Oh man. Well, like punk bands specifically. I'm gonna mix pop punk and punk.
Yeah, no,
too.
that's fine. I throw like folk punk, all that stuff kind
yeah,
of in.
yeah.
Sometimes
ska
like
punk
ska
too,
punk,
like a little
yeah,
little
yeah.
Goldfinger in there, something like that. Well, cause like I started off, like my foray into kind of like alternative music was Gorillaz, which led me to Green Day, and then Green Day was my gateway drug
Yeah.
into everything
I
else.
feel like that was a
essentially.
big gateway for a lot of people.
Oh
at
yeah,
least our
absolutely.
age.
Yeah, I love Misfits. You know, they're amazing. I'm a huge MCR fan. Like I love. Guys, there's so many. Like even just classic like Ramones stuff is cool.
Yeah.
But you know, I got like Goldfinger, as I said earlier. I used to be more into like the pop punk stuff, sort of more 2000s emo thing. But
Yeah. Were you like a
it's kind of-
Census Fail fan?
I was really more like, you know, and I was being influenced by like external factors, but I was into like, you know, The Used and, you know, what else? I'm trying to think. I've like blocked it out of my mind now. MCR was really the main one, but you know, like not
My
Paramore's
brother's
not
really
punk,
big
so-
on them. I haven't really listened to them too much, but
It's a good band. I'll say that much. But yeah, and then like I listen to a lot of local scene music too, because you know I live in New York. We've got a great
oh, you're so lucky.
scene here. It's
I'm in
awesome.
the Midwest. There's nothing here.
Oh man, you know who I recommend? A really good like indie punk band. They're called Town. They have an EP called Town One.
Oh,
and
I'm gonna write this down.
dude, it's really good stuff. And I'm also very biased because I've been friends with the lead of it since he was 7 years old. But like
That's
externally, it's still like incredible music, and it's just so like legit. And I love the Radioactive Chicken Heads too. You know, they're radioactive.
Yeah.
What are they? No, they're genetically modified punk rock.
Yeah.
I also love post punk too, like you know,
Let's
80s
say-
goth music. I love
So,
The Cure and you know, all that sort of stuff. Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees.
So I actually discovered Radioactive Chicken Heads through you, as I feel
Oh,
like,
sweet.
honestly, probably a lot of people who listen to them now have, which is that is like one of my favorite things I could do with videos is bring attention to something that deserves the attention, and then it gains like a little cult following. But anyways,
it was so cool because I did a live show with them recently.
Yeah, I want to ask about that as well. That is so damn cool.
So much fun. And that was the first time I've ever been recognized in public. And it seemed like the majority of the people who were there had come because of the video, or I'd found them through that. But it blew my mind because I had like 3 separate people come up and be like, "Are you Raymundo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Like, you want to talk to me? What the hell?
I saw a clip on Twitter of like some person dancing, and I heard the song in the background.
I'm like, yeah, that was a
hell? That's Kill Chuck E. Cheese. And I looked into it. Here, the comments like, okay, that's just like a Raymundo jump scare on my timeline.
Exactly.
Right. And then that's how I found out you had done the. You did an album with them as well, right? Or at least like covers and stuff. I was like,
we did an EP
holy shit, that
together.
is so cool.
It's so cool. That tweet, by the way, like, I think that's like 70K likes or something like that.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised. I was like, oh my god, it's just
me too.
Really weird
me too.
Thing
I
to
was
pop
like
up.
so shocked and so happy because I got one of our fans had posted an Instagram story tagging us like Polybius jump scare on the timeline. I was like, no way. So yeah, it turns out somebody had come to our show. Like so we play Pest Control, Polybius, and we've released it as a single, our cover of it.
Yeah.
And I made this disgusting Chuck E. Cheese rat mask, and every time we play it, we have Chuck E. Cheese come out for the song, just like the Chicken Heads do. I've directly stole this from them with their permission, by the way. But Chucky comes out, walks around the audience, creeps people out, then we fight, I kill him, and then he goes off stage, right? And it's very fun to watch and stuff like that. But someone got video of it, and it blew up, and that got like a bunch. We got like 600 listeners from that on Spotify, which is crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, so I want more stuff like that. But that was super cool. So with the Chicken Heads, my relationship with them, I'm sure you saw the video.
Yeah.
I was just scared of that Kill Chuck E. Cheese video growing up. And I was like, wait, I remember this. Because it felt like a childhood trauma iceberg entry that no one thought to add onto there. Because it has like 19 million views or something crazy like that. Like, it was still a very popular video. And so I started research, and I reached out to Carrot Top just to, I didn't think I was going to get a response, but I reached out like, hey man, would you like to do an interview for this thing? And he responded like, yes, and we did, and it kind of started this relationship between me and the band. And so now, I'm friends with the Radioactive Chicken Heads, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
So you saw when you were looking at the channel, there's a one that I just released about their music, and I'm so sad because it flopped really hard, but it's so much fun. I was able, Slipknot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you something real quick, actually. This won't be on the other camera, but...
No, you're good.
Right there, do you see that? Yes, kind of. Do you see this mask right here?
Yes, I see that mask.
So that mask is made by the same guy who did Slipknot's masks.
Really?
Yes. So because
cool.
the Chicken Heads are friends with him. They live in the same part of California. So, and he had made the most recent Carrot Top mask. That he wears
I was gonna say, I'm guessing
now.
it's because they have like the heads and stuff they use. Yeah.
So I was like, I made the Chicken Heads video, and it brought all this attention to their band, and I was calling with Carrot, and we talk about, since I was going to VidCon, in Anaheim, they live in I think in Orange County, or something like that, and so. He was like, oh, we should collaborate, like, when we're in California. I'm like, absolutely. So he brings up the idea, like, oh, let's do a song. Like, a song about Mars 2112. And I'm like, that is the coolest thing. Because, like, for, like, 2 months at this point, I'd been, like, daydreaming, like, it'd be really cool if I was, like, a part of the band. It was never going to happen. But I was just, like, just thinking about it. And then he says this, and I'm like, no freaking way. And so, we put this all together, and I'm like, what if I have, like, a mask? I'm not just me, I'm my mascot, right? And he's like, that's a great idea. I'll reach out to people. The Slipknot guy was the only one willing to do it. He had about, like, 8 days to make that mask. And he did a fantastic job with it. It looks incredible. because he made it in 8 days, it's kind of falling apart. So I'm gonna send it back to repairs. It's not his fault. He made that entire thing in like the biggest time crunch. But yeah. So we met up. Him and I wrote the song. Mostly him. I wrote the lyrics. He wrote like the melody and all that stuff. And we recorded it. We did a little performance in a studio, with the full entire band, which was so like absurd. You know, they've been around since the 90s. These are like Gen X punks, which is also really cool. It's like a different punk rock culture.
That's the generation my dad is from. That's where I guess like a lot of the people that he knows and tells me about and all the stories he has are related to. So that's kind of weirdly enough, I have more experiences with that generation of punk than I do in our generation. Okay. Yeah, not I guess we don't really have a people. Punk, I hate to say this because it's not necessarily true. It's kind of niche. It's at least totally with our generation, I guess to say, because a lot of the punk bands I listen to do not put out a lot of new stuff. And hold on, I'm gonna open OBS because now my camera is overheating. This is where you make the switch. But anyways, like I said, I feel like it's most of my friends, at least, they talk about like rap or like alternative stuff like that. Which is fine, but it is very cool. Which I actually did want to ask, since it's kind of in the same vein as that Aquabats, kind of like, I don't want to say parody band, but you get what I'm saying, like characters. Yeah, like have you ever sort of. Have you ever listened to Masked Intruders?
Masked Intruders. I'm gonna look
Oh my god, you're gonna love them. So 4 guys, red, yellow, green, and blue. They wear masks. They're like the nicest, most like sweet people in real life, but they always like put up like a facade in their stuff. But yeah, no, they just make songs about like committing crimes. There's one called Heart-Shaped Guitars, one of my favorites, about this guy who's singing outside a girl's window and like is refusing to leave, and she's like, I'm calling the cops. There's another one called Stick 'em Up, and the whole lyrics is like, stick 'em up, stick 'em up, stick 'em up, I have a gun, motherfucker, like stuff like that. It's like
is it kind of like an ICP sort of thing?
Kind of, I don't know. You have to listen to it. It's like
I see they have like a Garbage Pail Kids like logo, which is really cool.
They are very.
I like. I already like this.
All right, awesome. I'm glad I hit you. That's the other thing about punk, is that I get introduced to new bands and stuff, even if they are older for the most part. Like I can't think of too many recent ones to listen to, except for like, you ever heard of like Kill Lincoln?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're like newer. I mean, they're still like putting good stuff out. But anyways, it's nice talking to somebody.
Punk's kind of dead. You know, it's like it's hard to
dead,
find.
But you know what? It's my dead genre.
Exactly.
I'll take it.
Exactly.
But
it's still. I prefer it over. You know, not to sound like an elitist, but I definitely prefer. You know, like mid 2010s music a lot more than like a lot of
especially
stuff.
With punk. I feel like a lot of the big punk bands now, like Rancid and I'm trying to think who else is still putting stuff out. Bad Religion sometimes put things out, but it's just like it's not as good. It's just like you've been putting music out for so long, like these bands that were killing it in like the 90s and like early 2000s, eventually it's all gonna kind of simmer down a bit. But.
Yeah, it's also like the state of the world too. It's like, I don't know, I feel like Obama era punk wasn't really like, they didn't have too much to be upset about in the US. Like George Bush era punk, like American Idiot.
War on Errorism by NoFX, one of my favorite albums.
That was the power. That was like a golden age of punk, and then it's just kind of like, okay, well, it's not. We're not as bad anymore, I guess. That's kind of the vibe I got with a lot of these bands. It's just
not trying to get political, but I think we need punk now more than ever. I'm just saying.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Listen to like Propagandhi or something like that. How to Clean Everything. You're gonna. Is that a newer band? Oh no, they're like older. That's my dad's favorite band. I'm pretty sure. So I keep bringing it up. But like he's my go-to punk guy.
No, yeah, I respect that. That's awesome.
But. Anyways, before my camera dies, and since we're already approaching the hour mark, which is crazy.
Shit, yeah.
It's always with the YouTubers. I'm always this is our job to just yap.
Exactly.
Anyways, I like to ask all of my guests their very own who would win in a fight question. A what if you will.
Let's hear it.
Specially crafted for you, who do you think would win in a fight? Annoying Orange, Bloodlusted, or Carrot Top? Who's taking this?
Okay.
Annoying Orange can move in this scenario.
But he's like the size of an orange, right?
Yes, but he's bloodlusted. He's out to kill.
Okay. All right. Wow, man. See, I know Carrot Top, and I don't see that man as like someone who is out to kill. But also, you know, he killed Chuck E. Cheese. He fought off Bad Bunny. He fought Killer Clownfish. He fought Liquid Fat, and he won. So like, you know, he's got a lot of villains that he has beat. So he's got experience in combat. But can Annoying Orange like use the knife at all, or is this like?
Oh, that's a good question. Do we consider that a part of his canon arsenal of weapons? Is that something he has the ability to do?
You know, when I was a kid, I perceived him as like summoning it, but also is he just pointing it out? I don't know. I'd have to ask Danebo, but like,
I'd have to ask the Orange.
Exactly. Okay, so we got a fruit on vegetable battle going on here.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, all right, we got Carrot versus an Orange.
And I mean, Carrot Top's weapon is a knife, so it's like there could be like a little if he does have if Annoying Orange can utilize the knife, there could be a little like swordsmanship going on there, maybe. But yeah, okay, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to go with Carrot Top because he can probably just like realistically. He's a really tall guy, by the way. Like,
the Orange is like an inch tall. Or like a couple inches tall.
Carrot Top, he told me he has like size 13 and a half shoes.
Oh my god.
I know, it's crazy.
I say that like I'm not a size 13, but like still.
Dude, I'm like a 12 and a half, so I'm like not like shocked by it. But like, he's a big guy. That's what I'll tell you that much. It's like the carrot head adds a lot, but it's like, even without it, this guy like still has to duck down to like go under doors. So I'm gonna say Carrot Top. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of height over Orange. He's got experience. But I think Orange would still put up a good fight. I feel like there'd be a lot of evading happening, a lot of like quick rolling and stuff like that. You know.
All right, Radioactive Chicken Heads. If you are listening, that's your brand new song.
I gotta send this to them. I gotta
kill. Wait, what would be the title of that? Tonight. Like kill Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, it's like pest control, but it's about a fruit.
I don't know. What rot control? What do fruit do? They rot? I don't know.
I guess.
But,
yeah.
Hit me up if you need some ideas.
A juicing pun, or maybe like a I don't know, maybe some sort of like smoothie / like blending thing, possibly.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not the mastermind. I'll send this over to the chicken
Hit me up
heads.
for some ideas. You know, I'm thinking like grapefruit gets ripped in half, like he takes a bite out of pear, something really fucked up and twisted.
Yeah, there you
know,
go. Real
some
intense,
just absolutely
a glimpse into
mind-boggling,
your like dark
like twisted
reality.
Psychopath.
Exactly.
Ways,
there you go.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Absolutely,
if people would like to find you anywhere, where could they find you?
Well, you know, you can find me in multiple places. There's the Raymundo2112 YouTube channel, which would be the easiest place. Raymundo_2112 on Instagram. And then the music, if you want Polybius, you can look up. Honestly, the best way to find it, because there's multiple Polybiuses, but we're the most popular and the best.
There's a bit of a popular Polybius that might.
So look up
might
Polybius
come up if
Derpy.
you just look that up.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
Wait,
bit of
you have
it's not a very
physical?
specific.
You have physical media?
We got
Is that like a
physical
physical?
This is like one of the
I
two
love
last
physical media.
CDs because they all sold out, but they're very DIY. I like drew each one.
That
they're all
is
numbered.
sick. You gotta let me know next time you do that.
Oh yeah, next time we do a merch drop, we do like usually this is just for like shows in person, but I released like 10 of these online and they sold out within a few hours. So like people want them. Which means I just gotta get more CD covers, 'cause, you know. Hey, listen, I feel like this is gonna be collector's material. If all my plans go to fruition and like Polybius blows up, they're all all 100% unique. So like, I don't know, maybe. I'll let
what are you gonna do? Get copyright claim? Then they have to admit Polybius is real, so it's a win-win.
Exactly. Well, that's what I've noticed, right? It's like maybe Hasbro can copyright claim me for using their character illegally in the title and on the art, but they haven't yet.
They're gonna say Hasbro owns Polybius. I was like, holy shit, that'd be crazy.
Imagine.
Yeah,
well,
that was us, guys. Sorry.
I'm waiting to see. Like once, if I like copyright the name Polybius. If like Sinislotion or the CIA comes after me, it's like, oh shit, okay, well there we go, it's real. Thanks.
Well, it's real.
That was my goal all along.
All those hours of like debunking videos just absolutely destroyed because of one dude's like random band where he sang raining tacos.
Yep. It's over for them.